Alright, today on the table I have the 1903. The infamous low serial number explosion guns. When I first got this rifle, I was unaware of the low serial numbers. You know, after doing some research and checking in it to see what it was worth, I found out about it. And, you know, I went on a couple different web pages, and within the first paragraph, it'd be like, do not shoot this rifle, it's going to blow up, it could kill people. You know, I'm not trying to injure people, so I'm like, well, let's see what they're worth in parts. And I'd actually make slightly more money selling this thing in parts. So I worked out a strategy on how I could possibly corner the market in the parts, and I got right up to the point where I was like, alright, let's get this show on the road. I'm like, come on, get your stuff together. And just looking at the markings and, you know, the history this thing's got, and how if it wasn't for rifles like this, I'd probably be speaking German right now, I couldn't take it apart. So I'm like, alright, let's look into this a little bit farther. And my conclusion, the short answer, no. They're not that big of a risk to you, and I would definitely shoot them. As a matter of fact, to say that, you know, the double heat treat method solved the problem is false. Rock Island Arms has about, you know, 1 in every 200,000, even after the double heat treating method that exploded. Springfield has 1 in about 100,000. Actually, in 1987, a Springfield with a serial number over 1 million exploded. Basically, you're at a risk no matter what. To put it in perspective, these low serial numbers, you're at about the same amount of risk as traveling in a vehicle for 1,500 miles. And I actually drive for a living, so I blow past that risk all the time, so I don't look at it as a serious risk for me. That is a decision you need to make for yourself. If you continue watching, I'll give you the long answer and how I came to this conclusion. Alright, and I'm going to change the image every time I'm on a new talking point, so if it's a talking point you're not interested in, or it's one you already know about, you can just fast forward ahead until the image changes. First things first, these rifles have averagely been failing at about 12 years. So if your rifle is older than 12 years, it's probably not going to fail, which they all are. The rifle, for example, that I had on the table was on its second barrel, so it at least shot one completely out of it. And the looks of the barrel is probably like 50% war. So I really wanted to look into why people are saying that these are going to fail. So I had put together a list of questions I was trying to answer, you know, before I had made this video or decided whether or not I was going to keep the rifle. Question number 1, how many of the workers that were heat treating the metal were actually heat treating it wrong? How often did they work? And out of those days that they did work, how many of the days were really sunny? Question 2, when the rifles were tested, were they piece tested? Were they batch tested? Question 3, was there political motivation for deeming the rifle as not fit for warfare? Now, I also had a pile of other questions, which really didn't matter. I was going to originally kick the bush like I had done with my RAS information quest, which if you want to read the results on that, just click on the link in the video below and read the description, and that's the information I gathered. I didn't actually have to do that with this one. I found this website, which I'll also link below, where the guy did a really thorough job on researching this, and I feel confident in his findings. First things first, let's start out with what this is all about. Basically, the earlier serial numbers, it would be Springfield below 800,000 and Rock Island below 286,506. They were heat treating the metal, and basically they were doing it by sight. And if it was really sunny out, the color wouldn't show up as well or something, and basically they were overheating the metal by 300 degrees, causing it to be brittle. Between 1917 and 1929, there was 68 busted receivers, 11 of which did not have a recorded serial number. So of the 57 remaining, 33 were made by Springfield, 24 by Rock Island Arms. 2 of which were in the Springfield 950,000 serial number range, which was after they started double heat treating. They had also determined poor ammunition quality had played a role in the receivers exploding, and 4 of the receivers that exploded actually happened from a soldier trying to shoot an 8mm Mauser round out of his rifle. Now from 1929 to 1939, there was no reported low serial number failures when they were still in service. But now if they would have continued on the trend they were at, there should have been somewhere around 12 to 43 failures. Now, there was a very important thing that happened in 1929. We had ditched the soft ammo brass that we were using and started using better ammunition. Now, does that play an important role to the receiver's failures? I believe so. Now, like I had said in the beginning of the video, just going with the later serial numbers where they used the double heat treat method, that does not avoid you from the problem. They did also fail. It was at a smaller rate, and the receivers were actually stronger. I do believe, though, that the lower serial number receivers have no problems handling properly made ammunition, in the right pressure. It's your choice you gotta make, though. If you do get a low serial number receiver, there's gonna be people that don't like it and are gonna tell you you're dumb and you're gonna blow yourself up and hurt you and hurt others, and that's just something you have to deal with. But that's the conclusion of my results and how I had come to my conclusion. And I believe that the whole low serial number thing is just blown way out of proportion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.